Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through my round 24 tips for AFL, the men's competition, and tipping my qualifying final games and going through that. So before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the tips. So as you can see here, not the best. I mean it was a top 43% round for me. With a 5 out of 9, and total score ended up being 140 out of how many rounds are there? There's 23 times 9, which is 207. So 140 out of 207, not the best, but I mean, not the absolute worst. So we go through the first game. I picked Collingwood by 17. I thought they'd just sort of rest, but Essendon were that bad that I ended up being 53 points off. And yeah, that was just a really, really bad result. I got the tip right, just the margin, I blew it. Then we moved down to this one, and you can see two incorrect tips. I got both these tips wrong. Gold Coast, I had Gold Coast winning by 26, and they ended up losing by 35, is that? Yeah, that's 35. So yeah, ended up being, 61 points off on that one. So I've started the week 53 points and 61 points off. So not the best tipping week, as you can tell. But yeah, I didn't think North Melbourne would decide they didn't want the number 1 pick, but maybe they want 2 and 3 rather than 1 and 2. What do you fancy? Pick 1 apparently is worse than pick 3, as per North Melbourne winning this last game. But yes, I understand the whole point of going for team cohesion and winning culture rather than pick 1. But I mean, if they got pick 1, they would have just taken Harley Reid and taken probably Daniel Curtin after it anyway, and used the bid on Jed Walters or the other academy prospect, and that would have still would have left West Coast with probably someone like McKercher, or I think it's Kobe McKercher, or someone like that. But anyway, they can do whatever they want. And then Hawthorn decided to get thumped by Freo. I had Hawthorn by 21. They lost by 37, so that is 58 points difference in tip. So yeah, just a really bad game there as well. Now we move on to Brisbane against St Kilda. I said Brisbane by 17. They won by 12, so I was 5 points off there. Massively my best tip of the round so far. And yeah, just a huge win for Brisbane, locked up top 2. And also St Kilda, it made them a little bit nervous that they were going to lose out the home final. But I mean, they got over the line in the end, I believe. Or are they playing? No, they are playing at I believe they are playing at Marvel Stadium. Yes, because they ended up just not getting thumped helped them to just hold off GWS. I think it was in the end they held off by maybe 10, 12 points or somewhere around there. It was really, really tight to get that top spot, I guess. Or that not top spot, that qualifying elimination final, home elimination final. It was going to be against GWS. It was just which location. So you had that game that I picked right. Then you had Western Bulldogs, and I said by 11, and they ended up winning by 25. So 14 points isn't the worst. Just a really good, I think, tip in the end. And just looking at the tip that I have next, I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of the best tips of the round. I'm pretty sure it's within 5 or 6 points. But yeah, the Western Bulldogs just overran a Geelong side that didn't really want to play it, it seemed like. And so there's that. Then you have Adelaide, 123 to 48. That's a 45-point win, and I tipped them by 45. So that, I think, given the margin, might be my first perfect tip of the whole competition, of the whole AFL season. It was an easy game to get the actual tip right, but to get the margin right is another thing, and yeah, just really happy with that. But it doesn't show that I would have got the margin right because we don't do margins outside of the first game. Then we move on to the Sunday games, and Port Adelaide by 31 in this, but I said 33, so Port by I was 2 points off there. Another really good tip. So after the first 3 games, I'm only 21 out in 4 games. So yeah, really good tip. But then here comes a bad one. I said Swans by 13. They lost by 21, so 34 points out there. Bad tip there. And then we come to the last game, and I said Carlton by 21, and they lost by 32. So I was 53 points out there. So yeah, my losses amounted to a lot of the differential, I guess, as well as Collingwood just deciding to smoke Essendon. But that is all of the round 24. Now we go over to the 4 games, in the first week of finals. Collingwood against Melbourne tonight. This will be interesting. Who do I think is going to win? Now, the problem here is it's a dead heat, and rightly so with Nick Dacos out. That is, it's going to be pretty tough. Is there much of a home ground advantage? Maybe you could say, given the Melbourne don't pull as well to the MCG as much as Collingwood, you could say it's going to be 60-40 fans advantage, but it's on the MCG. Both of these teams play well. Melbourne's coming in having won 4 of their last 5, Collingwood 2 of their last 5, and Collingwood lost to Brisbane, Collingwood lost to Hawthorn, and Collingwood lost to Carlton in their last 5, whereas Melbourne have only really lost to Carlton, and that was by, I think, an umpire error, to be honest. I do think that was a goal. I think I'm going to go with Melbourne. I think this will be a Petrarca and Oliver masterclass, and I think they're just going to get the job done over Collingwood. I mean, whoever wins this has pretty much got a grand final coming their way, as they'll play Brisbane or Port in the third week of finals, and both Brisbane and Port don't seem to travel well. So I think whoever wins this is got a ticket in the grand final, and I think Melbourne's going to do it, and I think Collingwood's going to have to go the hard way of beating either in a toss-up between Carlton and the Swans, even though it seems like everyone's rightfully favouring Carlton. And then they'll have to play probably, I'm going to say, Brisbane, I think, in the third week of finals. And could Collingwood go up to Brisbane and win? They've lost 6 straight against Brisbane, so I don't think they're going to win that. So you could say Collingwood whoever loses this is going to not play in the final, but we'll wait and see about that. And I think Melbourne's going to win a classic tonight by 9 points. I think it's going to be a tight game, and I actually do think Melbourne's going to kick the last 2 to win the game. I think Collingwood's going to be up, and I think they're going to win, kick the last 2 goals to win the game, and it'll be something like 75-84, something like that. Then you have Carlton versus Sydney, and I am probably going to be a little bit biased in saying the Swans, and hopefully they actually get the job done. I think they're just the experience with in terms of finals, yes, and also the fact that they played early on in the season, and yes, Carlton weren't playing their best brand of footy then, but the Swans had Aaron Francis and Lewis Melican in defence, whereas this week they're going to, if we just look at AFL teams, they haven't announced teams, obviously, but if we go to, they've announced them for Collingwood, etc., Melbourne, but that's understandable as they play tonight, and so they need a little bit of notice. But if we go down to the Swans team that they played last week, you'll see they had Rampy, McCartan, and Nick Blakey. So it was Rampy and McCartan instead of Francis and also Francis and Melican, which I think is a lot better. And then up forward you have pretty much the same team. And then I don't think they had, if we look at the actual team when they played, I believe it was it round 13 or so? No, round 11. Round 11, here we go. So you can see the side here. Parker played, so you didn't have, they had McAndrew in the ruck, which was a weird one. They had no McDonald, sorry. They had, who was it? Where's Goulden? Goulden is in the followers. They had, it looks like no Campbell maybe. No, Campbell's on the interchange. They had just a lot of guys out compared to their last team. And yeah, just that you can just see that defensive line, Melican and Francis in there. And then that's going to be replaced by, if we scroll back down here, it's going to be replaced by the likes of, I guess, straight up just McCartan and Rampy. And yeah, that's just a lot better side, as well as the fact that Clark actually jumps to the bench as we gain back Papley and McInerney, and Stevens jumps to the, will probably be dropped, I'm going to say. It will be Stevens and Clark that get dropped from that side. And yeah, just a lot better and a lot more consistency up forwards. I mean, you've got the three tools up there, but we may even see, if it is a rainy game, you will probably see the likes of, I mean, I think they'll still stick with the three tools, but you could see, Haywood or another small play, but I don't really like Clark, so I don't think he should really deserve to play. But I do think the Swans will just edge it, but it'll be another classic, and I'm going to say Swans by 7 points. I think they'll be up by, well, I think they can get over their hoodoo in finals. But it'll be all about holding Charlie Curnow to under probably, if Charlie Curnow kicks 3, I think Carlton wins. So it'll be keeping Charlie Curnow to 2 goals, and finding a way to limit Cripper again, and that would probably be through Mills and Rowbottom to a certain extent, but I think Rowbottom will go to someone like a Paddy Dow if he plays, or trying to think of their midfield, is Shearer there, so Shearer or someone like that, or Walsh, and just trying to limit through that. But I think Swans will win by 7, and they won't collapse in the last quarter. But I mean, I'm always gonna be cautious or nervous when they go into the last at this point in the season and they're only up by 20 points. It's always going to be nerve-wracking. Then you have St Kilda versus Giants. I've already tipped 2 away sides. St Kilda versus Giants, and this could honestly, Giants are the favourites in this game, so you could see another away side win it. It's a tough one because you've got Steele and you've got Marshall, but then again you've got so much experience from the Giants side of things, and you just have a game winner in Toby Green. So I think I'm going to go Giants, and it's going to be another tight one. I think I don't see this one being much of a too far apart, so I'm going to go Giants by 12. And then you've got the last game, which is Brisbane versus Port, and like I said, I think Brisbane is going to win this game. I think it's still going to be close, but I think Brisbane's going to win by 23 points, as I think they're just a better side, and they play, did they lose at home at all? I don't think they've lost it at home this year. So, they're just really, really good at home, and really, really bad away from home, pretty much. They played 11 games at home, and they won all 11, I'm pretty sure, and they played 11 away from home, or 12 away from home, and they went 5-7 or something in those away games, or 6-6 in those away games. So they don't travel the best, but it'll be Brisbane by 23, I think, and hopefully they actually win, so that I can get that tip right. But those are my tips. If I submit them and then go back, those are my tips, and so that's the video there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.